Right, so today we are changing this into this. Righto, so here we are. I'm going to be doing an upgrade today from this horrendously old sat-nav stereo system in a 2013 Range Rover Sport Autobiography, and I'm going to be upgrading it to a DRIMATT unit, and also the AC head unit to a digital display version. So follow me along for the guide, and I hope this is of help. Right, okay, so we're going to crack on. Got all this kit and equipment from DRIMATT. Had the car a few months, and while I love it, this does let the car down for sure. So done a little research online. For some reason I can't seem to find a way to add Apple CarPlay to my wagon, so DRIMATT came up, and that's what I've ordered. So a load of kit and equipment. Today we're going to be fitting it. Seems fairly straightforward. Yes, there's a little bit of work involved, but I don't think you have to be a vehicle mechanic or an electrician to get any of this done, which hopefully now I'm about to prove. So start point is I'm going to remove this trim panel. I'm going to remove this trim panel here as well, so I can remove the AC unit. I have ordered also the 360 cameras, but they haven't yet arrived, so I'm going to do that as a separate video. So yeah, let's crack on. So all you actually need, I believe, is a T20 torque head screw. You need a 8mm nut remover and trim tools. Let's crack on. So this should just pull off. I'm going to use the trim tool. There you go. So you always have to pull it a wee bit harder than you think. There we go. This shouldn't be connected to anything on the back. And the replacement unit I have is a much wider version than this. So this new piece is a two-piece part, and obviously it's shaped and fitted to allow the new stereo. Next up, this silver trim unit here just needs to come out, and it's held in by 4 T20 torque screws. 1, 2, it'll be the same on that side, 3 and 4 right there. So should be fairly straightforward, and then that will give me access to removing these, and then probably 4 more torque screws behind that. Put these in there. So simply pulls off. Oh yeah, so these are on torque screws as well, top and bottom. So the torque screw here to be removed, and one at the top just there. So far, all these torque screws are the same, even for different bits of kit that are coming off, so it'll make my life easier for it going back on. There we go. These PCs, they're like the touch panels for the for this display when they switch on. These actually go back into the new unit. They just tuck in behind, so just remember which one goes where. In fact, they do actually say right and left on them as well. So you just disconnect equally. Little press depressor on the back, literally press it and it pulls out as well. Same again, little depressor on the back, and yeah, hopefully you can see it says left on there. Okay, so same again, there's 4 screws for the actual head unit. So it should now just release, nice and easy. On the back, all the wiring loom is, it's absolutely colour coded as you would expect. All of this is designed to fit back into the new DRIMATT version. Literally plug and play. There is one little change that needs to happen on here, which we'll come into in a minute. We just need to swap the motherboard. Now that might sound intimidating, but it's just a few screws and it's straightforward, so we'll get to that shortly. And you can see they are actually colour coded. Boom. And there you go, that's the head unit that's coming out. So next is going to be the AC unit. Needs to come out here. There's James in his old Transit. How cool is that? It's an old Croatian fire engine. Super cool. So there's a couple of screws at the back, or 2 bolts at the back that allow these 2 trim panels to come off, and then I can get this unit out as well. So let me go and do that, and I'll show you those units as well. There's 2 screws underneath this panel here. So what I need to do, I've got the fridge version, and I lift that there. That allows me to get my fingers in here to pull this panel off and access the 2 screws. And yet you see the 2 nuts in there that need to come off. Literally unscrew them, 8mm bolt, and that allows the trim panel and this whole unit here to be removed. Right, so I've pulled the rubber clip off. Literally, it's just got some clips to hold it in place, and then you can pry your fingers in the top and in the bottom, and this unit just pulls off as a whole unit. There we go. Nice and straightforward. Let's put that down out the way. And yet that's got a connector block on the back here, but I actually don't have to remove that. I'm just going to place it down. This just allows me then to remove the side access trims. There we go. It does, it just actually lifts from the back upwards. There we go. It's surprisingly tight, that one. Now what we've got is access to the AC unit. Again, you can see a couple of M20s, and here, and then no doubt, well, we'll see in a minute. I think this might just pull off. There you go. That was easy. Yeah, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. So let's get these off. Right, just pulls off. Same again. It's only got 1 connector on the back of this unit, and there it is. How dirty it is. But yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, the higher end version of it, but we're changing this for the digital display, which I'm super stoked about. There we go. So when you pull the CD player out, it's just on like these little lugs, so you kind of pull it out and then rotate it down, and that'll allow you to get it out. And you're only just pulling out the big power plug on the back, which connects to the new loom. This is the wiring loom that comes with the new system. This has got like the spurs on it that head from, for example, the back of the CD player. There's a little splitter on here that's required. There we go, like so. So this is what will go into the new back of the CD player, the spur that takes it back into the new system. So again, things can only go where they should go, so it should be fairly straightforward. Right, so there's a chance that I may have got out the car and walked around the front and saw how good the surf was and went for a surf. So I lost the day yesterday, but I'm a surfer. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to surf. If there's a wave, and the surf was insane. So I've shifted the car around the front just to get a bit of light in here before I lose it, so you can see what we're up to. So where I was at was stripping out obviously all the dashboards, everything's out to the CD player. It's the last piece that needs to come out. There's only 1 connector that needs to come out of the back of the CD player, just to give you clarity. So yeah, when you come to the back of the CD player, you see the largest of the connector blocks. It's this one right here. All you need to do, press the little clip in, take that out. Do this one-handed, I'm sure I can. Or I can't, whatever. Obviously be careful with the cables, you don't want to break them, pull them out. So this is the one that needs to come out, and that is the only thing that needs to come out the back of the CD player in total. Okay, the connector block for the new unit just connects back up to this and then straight into the new unit itself, so don't need to connect anything else. Put this out of the way so you can put the CD player back in, and then yeah, we're about to start connecting all of this back up. this connector block, if I get the new head unit, so the back of the new unit, right, you'll see various, I have already connected up, and I'll go through in a minute what you need to do. So this is basically the new loom, all of this here. 2 connectors that go on the inside of this, and you have to take this off to put in the new motherboard, which I'll show you now. Right, here we go. So this is probably the only bit of work I think that might seem intimidating, but actually it's not. It's just a load of screws and the unclip of one single ribbon and clipping it back in. So this is the original unit that you've already seen. So inside this unit there are 2 motherboards which are going to go in to the new unit, which is this one. So all we need to do, there are 4 screws, I believe. They are T8s, one of these little badgers. That's not going to focus because I've got a manual focus. However, 1 on each corner. Screw these off, nice and easy. Which is what makes it plug and play. So this should now just pop off. There we go. So on the underside of this, there is a ribbon. So be careful when you pull it off that it doesn't disconnect. Little piece should just pop up. There we go, and that disconnects. So this motherboard here, there's one more underneath. We're going to transfer that into the new unit. As simple as that. So that's all we need off of here. So within this piece, get rid of that. There's a number of, I think there's 9 screws. Again, these T8s. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these shinier sort of chrome ones, they're not the ones you're taking off. Okay, so it's just these other screws. So let's start here. Just beware when you, more so when you're fitting it, not so much taking it off, but you just want to make sure you're applying even pressure, because this plate is pressed into this unit. Obviously it's an exact fit, and what you don't want to do is screw these in super tight in an uneven manner and cause any damage to the motherboard. It's unlikely you would, but all the same, I would suggest doing top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. 1. So to remove it, just push down on these 2 connectors. You shouldn't have to push too hard. There we go. And that just pops that one out, revealing the second one. And actually, just while that's there, so this piece here, this is your CPU, this is your processing unit. It does actually get pretty hot. Obviously, that's where all the work comes from. So the unit itself, and there is a little card that tells you to do so. This is the heat sink, so just allows it to stay cool. So you just have to stick one of these on the back of this CPU, and then you can see this is where the old one here on the older unit, so it'll be the same on the new unit. Okay, so I'm going to place this to the side for now. I'm going to take out this last CPU motherboard, and then again it's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these T8 screws. And this one actually just lifts straight out, and you can see again the connector blocks. So these are your 2 motherboards that are going to go into the old, or into the new system. 1, 2. Let's get rid of that. This is the new unit. What a difference that is! How good does that look? It feels super sturdy. It looks great. Right. So got a couple of screws to remove again. These ones do look. These are smaller than the ones on the old unit, just for this cover. Get that there. And there are more in the bag as well. So there we go, that lifts off. And you can see again where literally everything's going to fit back up to the new plate, and that's the cable that we were talking about that connects back on. Right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to put the new heat sink onto the back, directly onto the back of the CPU. That's where we're going to start. Then we're going to connect this smaller motherboard into the new unit. Again, the screws actually marry up and line up. In fact, there you go, that's literally just fallen into place. You can see how it lines up, and then the other one goes on top. So let's start with this heat sink. Looks like it comes with a spare one as well, so looks like there's 2 in there. All I'm going to do is literally press it on. Try and get it as lined up as possible. I'm going to use the back of this just to ensure it's pressed on nice and tight. But what will happen when you put this into the back into the unit, it will press nice and tight against it. Will be fairly firm. Like I say, that's a pre-cut panel that's supposed to go in there. So that's the first job done. He's had a great session. Right, so like I say, this one just fits over the top, and you'll see if I just hold this in place on the back how the pre-existing connectors are now on display. So should be 4 of these for me to connect back in. That I want to use the new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And actually these are just Phillips. Don't over tighten these, just get them in, get them lined up. And no need to do them as tight as you physically can. They just sit on a plastic motherboard and you don't want to damage it. There you go, and that's that one in. And just be careful when you're placing it in again. There's not loads of room here. Okay, again, be careful if you're placing this down on something to connect it. Just beware that the connectors underneath are going to be protruding somewhat, so it definitely doesn't make it the easiest of tasks. Okay, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now I'm going to tighten them up. Again, they don't need to be mega tight. I'm just going to do them straight across the board. Nice and even. I'm just working right to left. And that heat sink will just be nice and compressed in there. And that is it, almost. So, last piece now is to connect this ribbon back up. It's a little bit fiddly. Just ensure that this is open before you put it in. You've got the connectors on one side, you can see, and then obviously the blue on the other side, so make sure the connectors are actually touching. There we go. Just to show you what that looks like when it's actually connected, you can see how the ribbon folds back up. So look for that red and blue on the right, and you can see it just folds back up there into itself, okay? And to show you all the surf I've been chatting about. Oh yeah, solid swells here. Clearly it's onshore, but I've been out almost every day. High tide dies off in this spot, sadly, but it's been absolutely mega. Right, time to screw everything back together. Again, I'm going to use this wee magnet just to get these in here. And of course, there's Phillips again, not the T8s. So just screwing in the 4, 2 on each side, of course. This shroud came with 2 screws in it. I used the extra little ones for that motherboard, for the first motherboard, and the 2 extra are for the 2 that weren't in any holes when this arrived. So, turns out that was probably the hardest job, getting these wee tiny screws in there. But, and I've got kids' hands. Right, so that's that unit put together. So like I say, that of all the jobs, that's probably the one that might come across the most intimidating. This one is 128 gig storage. It's 8 gig of RAM, and yeah, it's a 12.3 inch display, so 4G enabled as well. But honestly, it looks so good. So let's go get this back in the wagon. Right. Now that we're back, that job was probably the one that I thought was going to be the most difficult, and actually was fairly straightforward. Probably one of the easier jobs yea far, and in fairness, most of it's been easy, so it's not been complex at all, and with not much knowledge of car audio, I've been able to do this so far. So, right, this one of these, yeah, here we go, larger connector blocks here is going to go into the back of the CD player. And this other piece that's connected to it, the original cable on the CD player, which is this one here, is going to connect into that. One of the things I love about this head unit as well, one of the biggest concerns I imagine with anyone when they're upgrading their system, especially to aftermarket and not OEM, is loss of sound quality. Now, I've got the Meridian system in the car, which is just insane. This, I believe, is the only unit on the market where it's not connected by aux, the auxiliary from the original donor, the Jaguar Land Rover system, to the new one. It's actually connected by Bluetooth. So you connect, and we'll go through this after, you connect the Bluetooth from this to this, or actually from that to that, and that's how it retains the quality. So yeah, amazing bit of kit, and such a nice feature, because like I say, nobody wants to lose that quality, especially when you've got a system like this. I would say easiest thing to do up front before you disconnect all of this, go into your settings on the donor unit, go to your Bluetooth and delete your existing devices, especially your phone, because it can be problematic later, and we'll go through that in a little bit. Right, so I'm going to start piecing this all back together, and I'm going to start with this cable going off. I think I'm going to go over actually. Yeah, so this will connect into that. This will then connect into the back of the head unit. I don't know, you can't see this, but it's fairly self-explanatory when you get to it, and not overly complex at all. Okay, that is us in. And keep these out of the way. Oh, see that wee infrared in there. There's plenty of space at the back of this as well to push the cables down and out of the way. Okay, so that is everything for the CD player. So this just then slots back into place. It can be a little bit fiddly, of course. All right, here we go. So there's a wee, this cable here underneath that's coming out just makes it a little bit tricky to slide the CD player back in when it's going in. Right, so I'm going to connect the screws back up on that badger. I was saying before, what I love about this is pretty much all the torque screws are the same so far, and everything that I have pulled together. So I was saying earlier, the original touch pads, these badgers, now these go back in and they tuck up and underneath inside here. Okay, so the right one has got on its own the connector, which we're going to connect the right one directly to, and the left one goes back into the new head unit, and then we tuck them up and out of the way. Okay, so we're right first, and remember they do say left and right on them. It says right on the front side, and I'm going to just tuck that out of the way. What I have done as well actually is I've run the USB cable for my quad lock system that I use. So I've now not only got the mag head but the wireless mag head, so I've ran that underneath this unit all through here. There is actually a second USB on it, but I've got no reason to connect it just now for anything that I have, so I'm just going to leave it disconnected in the USB in the back. Right, so then this panel needs to go back on first, and then the other trim panel as well. So let's get these cables to come back through this unit, and remember this cable needs to plug back into here. Okay, so we can probably do that one first. Easy. Push the cables through and under so I've got access to them. Let's not let that cable get in the way there. Everything else out of the way. There we go, slots back in. Oh nice, clicks back in even. Who doesn't love a click? 1, 2, and the little bolts. Okay. And don't over tighten everything when you put them back in. Don't want all your plastic trims breaking. And then this panel goes on next. Go there like that. Just clicks in. And then with the new unit, when the new unit goes on, the AC panel, it screws through so that holds both panels together. Okay, so this connector here connects to the back of the new digital AC unit control panel. And then, right, we've got the back of the wiring loom. And it might look complex, but it's actually pretty straightforward. The things can only plug where they can plug, basically, if we want to keep it as simplistic as possible. So here, this single cable, here is the other right-hand digital touch panel, or the left-hand, sorry, digital touch panel. So the new one connects from the head unit back in, like so. The original connects to the spur that runs off of the new one. So that's that one there. And again, they only fit the ones that they fit, so you won't get this wrong. What I think I'm going to do though is just push this cable behind without losing it. Pull it out here through this little gap. So I've just got a little bit more room to tuck this out of the way. Like I said, there's plenty of room back here, but you know, just make life easier if I can get it out of the way, so you know, when I'm moving things in and out, I'm not damaging it. Here we go. Right, so okay, so I'll just tuck this up and under on the underside, which will be absolutely fine. This is everything that connects back to the new head unit itself, and again, you're pleased to see they're all color coded and things can only go in the place they go. I am going to connect the microphone for this head unit, and I might even connect the speaker that goes with it for calls. The reason they have that on there, you can still very much use the donor unit. I hate saying the donor unit, the car's stuff, original stuff. There has been a couple of occasions, and I've spoken to DRIMATT, where users, or when you're on a call, some people on calls from the person you're on a call to can hear a little bit of an echo, so the speaker does mitigate that if you use it. I'm going to use the car stuff, but I'm going to connect it all the same, just so I know what's in there. That's the speaker. Then you can just mount it in there, out of the way, run the cable round the back. And then this is the microphone, just simply on a mic jack. And again, I'm going to mount it in the same place, just out of the way, but it's there. And that's actually a good size. It's not a tiny little mic. It's fairly substantial, so it should pick up audio pretty well. So I'm going to connect that now. What I try and do when I do anything like this is just try and minimise the amount of stuff I have to take apart, which for me mitigates the amount of potential things to go wrong. So hopefully this is somewhat helpful to anyone that's watching it. With, oh yeah, it's got a wee sticky back thing on it as well, so let's give that a wee clean there. So next, I'm going to plug in all the cables. The, again, mic, speaker, connectors, they can only go to one place, so it should be fairly straightforward. My USB from my quad lock that I've mounted up here. So I have got power to my mag and charging case, which I'm all about. There is a second USB cable. I actually don't have any use for it, so I'm just going to leave it in the back and I'm not going to run it anywhere. Probably could run it back down underneath the trim panel here, back into the glove box. I have a fridge in here, so I don't really have a use for a second USB, if I'm being honest, so I'm going to leave that disconnected and discombobulated. So one USB cable, I can come back to them. They're actually quite lengthy in their own, so I'm going to tuck most of that out of the way also when I start putting this back in. Here for the mic connector, no surprises there, fairly straightforward piece of kit. Only the place that can go. Click and you get it for the speaker. So yeah, there, this blue one here, and these are named as well, so it says center speaker on it, so again, you shouldn't really be able to go wrong when you're connecting this stuff back up. He says click. So which side's the top? So yeah, the top is Yeah, that side. Thing to note as well, I've already chopped it off. So you see this little wing on the side. The one on this left side for the Range Rover Sport, you need to cut it off, which you can see I've done an amazingly beautiful job of. You need to cut it off for it to fit, because when the panel goes back on, the panel that comes off is one centre piece. It's actually two separate panels that go on. There's a surround that comes all the way to this edge, and then there's a second piece for essentially the passenger side. Right, so everything connects back into, it's colour coded and it can only go in one place. Don't have tons of room for all the cabling, so let's just get this in here. Let's get this tucked up and out of the way, this other left-hand cable. All right, where are we at? My USBs, let's get these over here. And I'm gonna plug in. Right, so this double spur, first one connects into there, like so. Yeah, and then this spur goes into the right side of the touch display panels or touch control panels. So again, I'm trying to do this one-handed. I like how easy that was. Boom. Pretty much everything else is on this wiring loom. It's just colour coded. They go to exactly where the colours marry up to. So I'm going to tuck as much of this out of the way as I can to give me the room to work, including this USB. One more. Right, it's everything connected back in. Let's try and push these cables as much out of the way as possible so nothing's getting damaged. Just going to put a couple in loosely so this is sitting still. So, right, AC panel back in, and then before I put it all back together, let's check it all works. I have no idea why I'm shouting at you. So here we go. That's the aircon display unit. I don't know why you're kicking off over here. So there's the one connector block on the back, which clearly this single unit connects into. There is a USB on the back of this. Don't actually know what it's for. I'd be interested to find out. But yeah, screw this section back down. This aircon unit actually just fits in, and then the trim holds it in its entirety. So let me just put that somewhere that's dry, because now it's super wet in here. I'm gonna make sure this is all screwed and secured back on. So yeah, like I say, this just connects into the back here. One connector. In, easy. Push the connector underneath out of the way. And then literally that's it. And we're going to do two things. We are going to move this car next to my van while I've got the chance and no one's parked there, and I'm going to press power and see if this all lights up as it should. Oh, oh, that's a fantastic start. I'm going to seatbelt up before this car steals my space. I'm going to move over ever so slightly. It's a nightmare parking here, so when I get the chance to park my car next to my van to stop the absolute belters that really don't care about pranging your door, then I'm going to do it. Alright, there you go, look, reverse camera's working. The camera's obviously filthy, hence why it looks like that, but this is a great start. So let's test a few things. First, the aircon unit just looks phenomenal. I wasn't entirely sure about buying this panel, because when I've seen it in other cars, certainly when I was looking at Range Rover Sports and I'd seen it on the older versions that don't come with it, I was sort of like, nah, take it or leave it, not that bothered. And actually now having it, I'm like, it looks class. Like, it really brings this car up to date, like no question. Really stoked with that. You can do the rear as well from here, the cooled seats, super nice, really good function. Obviously I can change all the temperatures and stuff, do the whatever vehicle settings and all the setups and stuff as well. So really stoked with that. The head unit again itself, it just looks phenomenal. So one of the things you need to do is, as I said before, like disconnect and delete any Bluetooth you've got connected to the car, and you need to you'd basically connect this unit to the car. That's how you retain all the quality from that Meridian or whatever sound system you've actually got. So I'm stoked with this. I mean, look how amazing this thing looks. It looks so good. So now trim panels back in. I'm going to tighten all the screws back up here, get these side trim panels back in, and this surround, and then that last piece there. So I think we can say that's a success. Yes, thank you, DRIMATT. One side in. These can be quite fiddly to get in. They kind of hook up and under. You'll see on the insides these teeth that marry up along the way. That's that. And then 1, 2 panels. You'll see here as well, this little piece comes off the old panel, just pops out from the rear, just pushes out, and then it fits back into this one. So now that you're here, you want to hit change device. It's important to do device to vehicle, not vehicle to device. This makes the Jaguar Land Rover system discoverable to the DRIMATT system. You then get 3 minutes to go connect. So hit the little home button, home. You want to scroll along to applications. That's not applications. Scroll along to applications. You want to go to Android settings, not settings. So the blue one, Android settings. You're looking for pair new device. This took me one step further, but you'll be looking for pair new device here. You're waiting for Range Rover Sport to come up, so unless you've been able to change the name of your original vehicle in the settings somewhere, it should appear as Range Rover Sport. You then click on that when it appears, and it's going to prompt you to input a 4-digit code. There you go, it's came up, Range Rover Sport. I am super security cautious, so I'm going to go with 0000. Hit done, but you're not done yet, so now you need to go back to the Jaguar Land Rover settings, so hit home. Hit the little car that's under there. Do you want to add this device? Yes. Input the same code, 0000. OK. There we go. That then is going to add my device. So this is now the DRIMATT system connected to the Jaguar Land Rover system, and why that matters is because it means the audio is then connected in the most high definition version possible. It's not connected via the auxiliary cable, it's connected via Bluetooth, so you retain all that audio quality. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my Apple CarPlay settings on my phone. So I'm going to search CarPlay, I'm iPhone. I'm going to search for this new system, this vehicle that comes up. For me, it comes up as Bluetooth or BT7664. I'm going to connect to there you go, connect to that, hit pair. And this should pair. It should then allow my Apple CarPlay, there you go, it's now working on there. Connect from my phone again. It's fairly straightforward, to be honest. What I'm going to do then is going to fire the car back up. This might disconnect, but I'll fire the car up again. And then we're just going to check the audio is working. So let this crank back up. I'm going to make sure I've got some heated seats on, which I do, because it's not the warmest outside. Right, I'll let this connect again. There we go. Connects automatically. So now that we're on here, let's just check this actually works. So let's hit you up with a bit of John Mayer or a bit of Gravity. Don't mind if we do. Don't want to play this too long because YouTube will kick me off. Oh, I'm going to say that's working. Well, that's a great start. Hopefully everyone found that fairly straightforward. What I'll do as well, let me test that. You better pause quickly. I'm going to test the phone works as well. So I'm going to make a quick call to Pete. I'm going to do it from the phone so you can't see his number. Give this a sec to ring through, and let's see what's going down. Pete's got a filthy mouth, so just so you know. Here we go. Pete, you are live on a YouTube tutorial. Please do not swear.
Man, get
Well, that was Pete, everyone. I think we can agree up and everything seems to work. So listen, I hope that was helpful and a useful tutorial. If it was, please drop a like and a follow and all that good stuff. It just helps me make this worthwhile for doing, because I know it's not always that straightforward. So yeah, there you go. Well, I did notice, one to point out, I actually found it easier to connect the DRIMATT system to the Jaguar Land Rover system when the engine was off, so when I just had the ignition on. Not sure why that would make a difference, but it failed a few times when I was doing it with the engine running. So if you are experiencing any difficulties like that, try it without the engine on and see what happens. But once again, thank you.